Hey everyone, Matron here, bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary, this time a self-analysis. My opponent will be TremendO, currently with 1711 points, number 4 in his Diamond division. I'm currently rocking about 1350 points, slowly working my way up, not playing too many games, but 1364. So, let's get started. This game will be a ZVP on Jungle Basin, TremendO spawning as the red Zerg, and I'm spawning as the blue Protoss. So Jungle Basin, not really a map I've played all that much, though I have watched quite a few replays, especially the Kiwikaki game between Slush. Gave me the idea to place a pylon there, and you can warp guys across the little chasm there, past the destructible rocks, and any Zerg that feels like they are going to be safe, fast expanding there, well, you can usually catch them by surprise a little bit. So on this map I have been favoring a kind of a modified 4-gate with a +1 attack, as the +1 very good against Zerg players, takes down those Lings in 2 shots from the Zealots, and I have been bringing many Stalkers on my initial attack, perhaps a few at the very end to clean up Overlords, do some more guaranteed damage that way. So it looks like TremendO may be trying for this fast expand, as most Zergs will go for it on this Jungle Basin map. And he's going to send a drone out scouting me right now, and that's actually going to be a big factor into this game. This drone scout is going to alter his build order, I feel. So I'm going to take my probe around. I'm not going to see any pool, going to check for the hatchery after I check for the pool. So far in Diamond I haven't really been 6-pooled or 8-pooled or anything too quick, but I do see this drone rallied down here, so I'm going to follow it. He doesn't yet have enough minerals, so no sense staying down there as my probe is following him. And then he is going to see this fast gateway. So I did gateway on 10. I got my pylon up a little bit late, so I had enough minerals to get a gateway up almost when my pylon popped. So I decided to go 10 gateway, try to get a little bit faster 4-gate going. So it looks like he's going to respond with a spawning pool. Not sure whether that was because I blocked his expansion or because I'm doing a fail job there with my probe, or because he saw that fast gateway, and then he's just going to dance around with this probe down here for a while. He's also sending his Overlord to the back of my expansion here, so he's going to be able to see whenever I try to throw down an expansion. Looks like he's finally going to get one up shortly, possibly around 18 food. And I'm already working on my cybernetics core. I do have gas up. I'm going to get that going as well. I do decide to go for a no gas warp gate tech here, so after I get my initial 50 I'm going to pull off a number of drones. I do start that warp gate tech right away and chrono boost it. I saved a bit of chrono boost, and now I'm just going to have the one probe on gas right now. You always want a little bit of gas if you need to warp in a stalker or bring a sentry along to get a force field, so I never like to take everything off the gas. So throwing up another 2 gateways here. Gateways take 65 units of time. This warp gate tech takes 140, so if you are chrono boosting this, you want to try to get your warp gates up, or your gateways up, as quickly as possible after you start the warp gate tech, as they will be done pretty much the same time as long as you keep chrono boosting it. Looks like I'm doing a decent job. Now I do not yet have a 4th gateway up. I'm going to do that right now. So this one's going to be a little bit late, and it's going to throw me back. He actually produced a few Zerglings here. He's going to knock on my front door, and he actually does not do a lot of damage here. I'm getting a Zealot out to try to shut the door here, but the Zealot does not pop in time. He's actually going to be able to make it in here with his Lings, and I really question why he didn't go straight for my minerals at this point. But it looks like he's just going to poke at the cybernetics core, and I finally get that Zealot there. So I do have warp gate tech complete. I'm going to have these 3 gateways coming up right now. At this point I decided to change my plan a little bit and delay till I get this ground weapon level 1. That was part of my initial plan, but I just did not get the forge up in time, considering that I had 10 gated, and I got that chrono boosted cybernetics core to get the warp gate up so quickly. There's just no time to get up the +1 here. So I do have a probe in the back of the base here, hiding behind this rock, and a tree earlier on. There's a lot of neat things you can hide behind back there. He actually had some Zerglings. I don't know whether they're just moving. They certainly weren't attack moving because they attacked the probe for just a little bit. Kind of scared me. I thought I was going to lose this probe. I had already lost one earlier in the game. But he is going to put an Overlord at the rocks. And it looks like I do have my 4 gates up. I do not yet have my +1. So I'm going to wait for that, but it's just going to be too long. And if you don't bring this attack in about the 6:30 or 7-minute mark, Zerg's able to get that lair tech up, and we'll see shortly that things get a little bit out of hand, and the game sort of gets away from me. Doing a nice job throwing down that creep tumor. Again, you do want to connect your 2 bases as Zerg, and he's got a queen up for both. Doesn't have too much energy, does need to inject here. And looks like he is just droning up for the most part. 24 drones compared to my 26, but he is on 2 bases. I also decided to throw down a Nexus at this point, so my build is all screwed up. I think the 10 gate really screwed up my timing. Got things out a little bit too quickly, and I wasn't ready to attack. So I don't even have my +1 right now. It's about to complete, so pretty decent job. It should be up by the time the Zerglings come down, and let myself get a little bit surrounded here. He did take down this pylon with these Zerglings, so I'm not going to be able to reinforce anymore. And at this point, I've invested 500 minerals in the pylon and the zealots here, and I have 0 to show for it. I do have an expansion up, trying to push out probes for that, and I decide that I'm going to need a robotics facility or some sort of higher tech to fight back against all those Zerglings I saw, plus his eventual lair tech. So it looks like he is getting up the spire right now. It's going to be about 90 more game seconds, and for the most part I'm just creating zealots to try to combat these Zerglings. Again, the +1 zealot's very good against the Zerglings. He does not have any armor, and I do lose control of my front door a little bit there, kind of get into the single control group mindset a lot of times, so I do need to make sure that I keep a zealot there at all times and I don't accidentally add him to my army at any point. But I do have these 4 gates, I do have the 2 bases right now, up to 36 harvesters, so I'm a little farther ahead than he is. He did produce quite a few Zerglings, so if anything my initial attack might have scared him a little bit, and his economy is not rip-roaring like it could be. See, this is pretty horrible saturation on the main. Natural is actually better, but gonna shut this front door with the zealots and try to warp in more and more units, perhaps push out. At this point I'm not doing anything with the robotics facility. Look at all the minerals I have. So I did get up on 2 bases. I only have 4 gates. I need to get up a few more gates. Looks like I'm going to do that right now. Get up the robotics bay. Not really sure what lair tech he's going for. Again, the scouting was pretty horrible this game. Just blindly 4-gating on this map. I have not really played in the past week, so doing a really poor job with my macro. Check my APM down. It's probably about 15 or 20 below what I usually am. So pretty poor. And again, my resources trying to dump them, but dumping them into zealots, and that is not going to be good once these mutalisks pop up from that spire. So it looks like he's gotten banelings as well. We do have a lot of mutalisks coming in here. Look at the unit counting station, 10 mutalisks, and I'm not prepared. I did get a photon cannon or 2 at the back rocks as the Zerglings were harassing a little bit there. And now I'm going to have to try to warp in as many stalkers as I can to take down these mutalisk numbers. Again, grab my zealot as part of the army. There's no reason I should be moving my zealots around as I defend against these mutalisks. He's going to try to take down these pylons as they are powering these 3 warp gates right now. So going to do my best to try to take down his mutalisks, but it's just not happening before he can unpower those warp gates. I'm now on 1 warp gate, and he's just picking off pylons. I'm about to be psi-capped with just a few stalkers. If he had attacked with a lot of lings and banelings at this point, I think I would have been done. He could have easily busted through that zealot and done a lot of economic damage. The one saving grace I have right now is I have 43 harvesters compared to his 30. Again, 43 is not even that great on the 2 bases. Decent saturation on both. But should have in the 50s, and he has not come back to do any sort of economic damage. Looks like he's going to come in here and try to take out more pylons, but I did warp in quite a few, so these warp gates are powered now, and I need something to combat these mutalisks. I do not want to throw up a Stargate right now, so it looks like I'm going for a lot of gateways. Stargates are actually pretty decent, as you can get out Chrono Boosted Phoenix pretty quickly against those Mutalisks, especially if they don't constantly create more and more Mutalisks. See, a lot of people get these 10 Mutalisks